Hey y'all, this is Zombararu, and I am back with another video. This time I'm going to be doing a review of my favorite video game character, Shantae. Well, it's going to be a review on her game Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I originally played this game on the Nintendo Switch, and this game is so much fun, and it's a very enjoyable, fun experience. Just being the half genie girl and saving the land that she lives in, Sequin Land, from this evil pirate king who originally was the mentor to her arch rival, the evil lady pirate queen, Risky Boots. And what's interesting about this game is that Shantae actually doesn't have her genie magic because, well, in the previous game, her genie magic got taken away. So pretty much in this game, she's, well, a human. And it does make sense since she is a half human, half genie hybrid. And it was pretty sad that you can't do any like her iconic magical dancing moves. But what you do in this game is that you actually require the pirate abilities so it could uh, advance through the levels, and you can gain some of the items that you missed from the previous levels. And those items that you actually get belong to Risky. And honestly, it is really cool. It's so much fun, and it actually made the game more fun and more enjoyable. And I think it's one of the faster paced Shantae games because the previous games, I don't think they were this fast, honestly. And what's interesting is that this game was actually said to be the one that actually saved the Shantae franchise because what previously happened is that Shantae kind of had a bit of a struggle like back in the early 2000s. And if you guys wonder what I mean by that, well, then let's just go by the history, shall we? So Shantae's original game came out on the Game Boy Color all the way back on June 2002. And even though the game received like a lot of positive and favorable reviews, the sales were very, very poor because, well, the Game Boy Advance was taking over the public at the time, and pretty much the Game Boy Color was like losing its popularity. So it was kind of late to the party, but then again, the game still received a lot of positive reviews because it was said to be so much fun and quite unique for the time. And plus, they say the way that Shantae dances in the game, like when you actually press the button to make her do her iconic belly dancing, it is so incredibly smooth and very fluid. And honestly, it was pretty groundbreaking at the time. And I gotta admit, even when I saw her dancing moves on the Game Boy Color, it was actually very impressive. It made me wonder, how did they do that at the time? But I guess you can say she's not just a genie in the bottle. Yeah, that's what the slogan said about the game, but yeah, what can you do? But even though the game pretty much didn't have a sequel for a while, but in 2010, the game actually did had a sequel called Shantae Risky's Revenge. When this game came out, some people actually did enjoy it, while a few others I didn't think the reviews were like as positive as maybe the first game because some people say that the game is either a bit too easy or a bit too short because there was originally supposed to be different sequels for Shantae, but both of them got canceled, and so Shantae did had a bit of a struggle with trying to get a sequel, and so what she ended up getting is Shantae Risky's Revenge, and they did update the game by giving it a director's cut, and it did improve the game a bit, but the game still suffered with the fact that it was still too short. But other than that, it still did pretty well. Not as positive as the original game, but still good in its own way. But then in 2014, we actually got this Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, which is the most popular out of all the Shantae games. And I guess you could say the most well known too, since a lot of people tend to play this one first before playing the other ones, which I did as well. and it was so much fun. I had a blast playing this game, and I can see why this game got a lot of positive reviews. And it definitely is the most faster pace, and it seems like after Risky's Revenge kind of didn't live up to the potential and kind of didn't make the series as popular. It was thanks to this game that the popularity started to skyrocket. Yeah, get it because one of her friends' name is Sky, the one with the blonde hair. But yeah, that was a bad pun. I'm sorry. But anyway, this game definitely is so much fun, and the game actually did pretty much hold up the Shantae series for a while, but then the series actually got another continuation, and the game actually went from being like those retro sprite type of animation to a high quality 2D, 3D type of animation, and that ended up happening with Shantae Half Genie Hero. This game actually was pretty popular, and it's one of the reasons why the series had a different high quality type of animation, and it definitely improved with the animation. And the gameplay still remained the same, but it's just that it's been updated, with the animation. And plus, Shantae's dancing, it actually got shortened because her dance moves actually were a bit longer in the previous two titles. Whereas in this one, it's a bit shorter where all you have to do is just press the button to have her dance a little and then make her transform depending on your choices and stuff. But let's see. Oh yeah, and also this game has been updated many times with so many different DLCs where there's like Friends to End, there's one you can play as Risky, and many different stuff that's been going on with the game to the fact that it started to be called Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. And this is actually the complete edition of the game where you get to have all the DLCs and you get to have so much fun playing the game and with so many different modes in the game, which honestly is a pretty great idea and it's so much fun. Although, I would love to play this game one day if I could find it somewhere, if I get a new Nintendo Switch system, which I hope I do one day. And I do want to do the same thing with the other previous Shantae games, like the original game, Risky's Revenge, and this game, of course. And of course, you can't forget the next sequel, which got even better, which is Shantae and the Seven Sirens. This game actually introduced many different half genies who are just like Shantae, and it was a great welcome to the series because we always see that Shantae was like the only one who we see that is a half genie hero, but we never actually see the other half genies. I think the only time we actually saw them was in the first game, but we didn't really see them get talked about that much until this game. And we actually see that now that Shantae is not the only half genie hero that we mostly see, but of course she is the main character since we do follow her the most. But seeing that there are other half genie heroes besides her, it's actually very welcoming and makes me hope that they introduce more half genies so we can see the different varieties and seeing if they still work as hard to protect their home from like many different threats, just like how Shantae is doing with Risky Boots. But this honestly is a pretty great, beautiful, well animated game, and it looks so much fun to play. I would love to play this one as well, and would love to see the other half genie heroes in this game because this will be a total blast to play because it looks gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. And also, I think this is the first game where Shantae is in a tropical island instead of saving Sequin Land from Risky Boots, which honestly is pretty good because, we do need different locations, besides just one. But yeah, this was Shantae's latest adventure for quite some time until we actually got a pretty big surprise from the fact that wayforward actually went on to create actually complete the canceled sequel from the old days when they were trying to make a sequel for Shantae. And that game actually ended up being Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution. It was honestly a big surprise to see this because this game was canceled back in the day, and seeing that they actually went back to complete this game, it honestly is a complete surprise. And this is actually now the real sequel to the original game and a prequel to Risky's Revenge. And that's honestly a big surprise, honestly. And the fact that it's still considered to be a console, I mean, yeah, a release for the Game Boy Advance. If anybody still has their Game Boy Advance, they can actually play this, but if you don't have the Game Boy Advance anymore, then you can't play this unless they allow you to play this on Nintendo Switch, I think. I don't remember, but anyway, this game looks so much fun too, and it actually brought back the 2D sprites that they were trying to do with the original game, but they never completed it. But oh well. But now, since the game is complete, it is now available for anybody to pick up if they want to play on the Game Boy Advance or Nintendo Switch or something like that. And also, there's going to be a Shantae 7th game. We don't know the name of the game yet, but all we got is this cute image of Shantae's cute little pigtails and Risky's braids. I really love their hairstyles. It really suits them. And we still don't know what they're going to do with the 7th one yet, but I hope that there's going to be some more lore, and maybe, if possible, they might introduce Shantae's mother and maybe her father, but we don't know yet. But we'll find out and see. And so that's pretty much Shantae's history. And so now over the game itself. The game is incredibly beautiful. It's so much fun. The way to control Shantae is very smooth and no problems at all. I will admit though that the final level did get quite difficult. Well, it does make sense that the game was getting difficult as you play along, because in the first few islands it's not so bad, but then once you enter the zombie level and the final level, it starts to get really tricky. And including that Bogue Island, I really don't like that island. That island is like my least favorite level in the game. The Tan Island one is my favorite. And this game was originally released for the Nintendo 3DS, but you can play it in many different consoles now, where you can download it for the PS4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch, and many others, you know. And I really suggest that you guys try this game out because it is so much fun and it's a really wonderful experience. And Shantae is a really, really great character. I actually love all the characters in this game. I love Shantae, I love Roddy Tops, I love Sky, I love Bolo, I love Risky, I like Uncle Mimic and Baron, you know, many different villains in this game. They're so much fun. Another thing I like about this game is the rivalry and the somewhat allyship between Shantae and Risky. At first, they are pretty much well known as rivals who hate each other's guts, but in this game, they actually got along as like partners, and they actually worked together to try to stop the evil Pirate King from taking over Sequin Land, because that is pretty much Risky's job to do that. And it was an interesting character development between the two because they actually did seem to get along. And even though Risky won't admit it, she pretty much doesn't seem to mind having Shantae helping her out, but she still don't like her. Whereas for Shantae, she kind of wishes that Risky could switch to, well, turning into the good side, but Risky is not that way. She's not made to be a good guy. She's pretty much a villain, you know, and it is her job. She's pretty much been doing evil work for generations. I think around the time when Shantae's mother was around, and it's like a generational path, you know, which is kind of funny like, when you think about it. Risky is older than Shantae, but anyway, yeah, that's how much I adore the rivalry and the allyship between Shantae and Risky. Overall, I really enjoy Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. It's pretty much a game that I could play over and over again and never get bored. I love the gameplay, I love the music, I love the story. It's pretty much just so much fun. But what do you guys think about Shantae and the Pirate's Curse and her other games? Let me know in the comments below and let me know. And until then, I'll see y'all in the next video, and I'll see y'all around. See y'all later.